Alright, so let's talk about taking Chemistry 152 online. If you were at Wake Tech this spring, you noticed we made that jump from seated courses to online courses, and this is going to be different than what you experienced in the online version of your spring courses. Because these started out as online courses, these are going to be treated as online courses. So, what are the big differences? Well, if you start out the seated course, you didn't need a lab kit, and you noticed that we did a lot of virtual labs. There was a good reason for this. We didn't think it was fair that you sign up for a seated course and you're going to have to turn around and pay $300 for a lab kit that you were only going to do like 3 labs out of. That isn't true for a course that starts online. So if you watch anything else about this video, please listen to what I'm about to say. Order your lab kits now. Carolina Biological is the one that supplies it. You can order directly from the bookstore, or you can also order it directly from Carolina Biological. You might want to consider both options before you're placing your order. Go ahead and get the order in now. We are not the only school that is doing this. So Carolina Biological, typically they've assured us they can get us students their lab kits by 3 to 5 business days. That said, mine was ordered and I still haven't received it, and this was a while ago. So go ahead, if you watch nothing else about this video and take anything else away from this video, go ahead and order your lab kits. The lab is 25% of your grade. Now this week there are 2 paper labs. One is a review of Lewis theory and Vesper. This can be found on WebAssign. The other is an ethics assignment, which can be found on the course website. So go ahead and complete both of those. They are due by Thursday at midnight. With all labs, you will have until Thursday at midnight to complete the 2 labs that are due that week. The labs, the ones that you're doing the lab kits, are completed by going to WebAssign. There are individual WebAssign assignments up. They are all visible right now. The reason for this is that if for whatever reason you know next week's going to be a busy week for you, you can go ahead and you can punch out the labs. These are pretty much your labs to do. Your labs, those WebAssign assignments, are going to be 50% of your lab course grade. Now, while you're doing these labs, go ahead and get like a $2 composition notebook. You're still going to need to keep a lab notebook. Ideally, what we would do for 152 is you would physically take these labs and get the experience with working with the techniques. We don't have that option right now. So to kind of make sure that you're at least getting a somewhat good lab experience or good lab training, you are going to need to keep a lab notebook for all the labs you do. What you need to keep in your lab notebook, very first page needs to be a table of contents. Second, for each individual lab, you need to have the title, the date that you did it. It doesn't need to correspond to the due date. If you do the labs early, good for you. If you're doing them all at the end of the week, doesn't matter as long as they're getting done on time. Make sure you list the reagents, give a summary of the procedures that you performed, any data that you acquired, record that in your lab notebook, and that you're going to submit at the end of the semester is pictures of your lab notebook through a course link. Now, another 20, that's going to be, lab notebook's going to be 20% of your lab grade. 20% is going to be a lab practical. This is done virtually via WebAssign. Again, as we get closer, you'll get an announcement about that. The remaining 10% are going to be oral reports. Now, oral reports. There is a link up right now. It's going to be visible for several weeks. You need to pick an oral report topic. If you do not pick a topic before the deadline, you cannot submit an oral report. The reason I do this, historically I've had students say, oh, I'll just pick a topic, and they pick it the night before, and their talks are just atrocious. And I need to watch a whole bunch of these. So in principle, if I make you pick a topic about 2 or 3 weeks before it's due, in principle you have 2 to 3 weeks to really kind of like work on your presentation. When you go to submit your presentation, you're going to record it, use your phone, use laptop, use a desktop computer, use something. Record it and post it to YouTube or some type of video sharing service, and what you'll do for your oral report is that you'll submit it, you'll submit the link to your video, and I'll watch the videos and give you feedback. There is a rubric that's going to be available for download off of the actual assignment submission link itself. So that's the lab. You've got the WebAssign home lab kit, you've got you go and get your oral report topics out now so you don't forget them, but you've got, oh yeah, assignments are 50%, lab notebooks 20%, lab practicals 20%, and your oral presentations 10%. And that's your lab grade. How about the course? So, in terms of the course, every week you're going to get an email from me Sunday, midnight, first thing in the morning, letting you know what topics you need to be covering. Now, each week there is a discussion board, 2 discussion boards actually. You need to respond to both discussion boards. The discussion boards serve as attendance, so they need to be completed by Thursday at midnight. And the reason I'm going to tell you this is that Friday I'm going to enter attendance. If you miss more than 10% of the discussion boards, you are withdrawn from the course for lack of attendance. So do the discussion boards. It is essential that you do them because what they are doing is they're going to give you a feel for how quickly you need to be moving through the material. The discussion board questions are not like fluff questions. They're actually questions that are relevant to the material to make sure the types of questions you can answer. So your discussion boards here are your attendance. They're also going to count towards your homework grade. You have homework on WebAssign. When you go to purchase WebAssign, do not purchase it through the Blackboard. Do not purchase it through the bookstore. Purchase it directly from WebAssign. The bookstore is trying to sell you a $20 ebook with your subscription. The textbook for this course, as you saw in the initial announcement, it's a free textbook. You should not be paying any money for that textbook. So buy it directly from WebAssign. I think it's like 20 bucks. It's a lot cheaper if you buy it directly from WebAssign. Homework is due the day when the test is assigned. It is due so that it's all due at that time, and the reason being is that you can work through the homework at your leisure. Because there is so much time given for you, 2 full weeks to do the homework, I don't grant extensions. I will try to let you know if there's any nuances with the homework, but generally the homework is very representative of the types of questions you'll be asked on the test. So it is very important you go through and you do the homework. The exams, you will have 1 week to take them. In addition to just taking the actual exam, there will be a second link that shows up that you need to submit your work. The work, particularly for the free response questions, not the multiple choice, is going to count to 80 to 90% of the credit. So you may have the right answer, but if you don't have any work, you're only going to get 5 to 10% of the credit for answering the question. So make sure you upload the work. This serves 2 purposes. One, it demonstrates to me that you understand the concept by looking through your work. The second, far more important, it's there to deter cheating. If I go through and I look at a whole bunch of work and I see that y'all access the test at the same time and the work looks like carbon copies, that's usually good grounds for sitting back and saying you probably cheated on the exam. Now, the exams themselves have multiple question pools. They tend to auto-generate, so it should be harder for you to cheat, but don't take that chance. Now, something I have to explain to students. It is a WebAssign, it is a Blackboard exam. The algorithm is very bad at grading. So generally what I have to do is I have to go behind it and actually grade it. And I get frantic emails from students at like 2 in the morning like, well, I just submitted it and I think my questions are right. Read the announcement. I am going to go through the exams and check them. If you send me a frantic email after you've submitted it saying, I think it's wrong, it probably is. You have to give me time to grade it. And typically I do like to take my weekends off and actually like get outside and do things. So usually within 1 business day your exam is going to be graded. The tip-off that I've graded your exam is that your work will be graded. You'll receive just an arbitrary 1 point. It doesn't count anything. It just lets you know that that I've checked the grades. Helps me in the Blackboard to see that I've actually checked the assignment. So wait until you see that your work is graded before you go through and start contending the points that you lost on the exam. If you send me that email saying, oh, I think it's wrong and I haven't checked your exam, I'm probably not going to respond to it because, again, you just kind of need to wait and be patient and understand that, yeah, I'm actually going to go through and check it. 4 exams, each worth 12%, 48% of your grade. 25% is going to be for your 25% is going to be towards your lab. There is a quiz grade in the course. That quiz grade is that entry quiz. So make sure you go ahead and take that entry quiz. That's an easy 2.5 points on your final grade. Homework, 2.5%. I tend not to make the homework worth a lot because I want you to try it. I want you to not freak out about not getting 100%, more for you to focus on the concepts. Last one is the final exam. Your final exam, the course finishes on a Monday, July 13th. The Friday beforehand, actually I think it's the Thursday beforehand, the final exam will open up. It is 35 multiple choice questions. You have until 5 p.m. the following Monday, July 13th to take the exam. Now, that said, WebAssign will not, or not WebAssign, Blackboard will not let you start the exam if you have less than an hour and 50 minutes to take it. So if at 3:11 p.m. July 13th, you try to start the exam, it will lock you out because you don't have enough time to take it. So start it before 3 o'clock that Monday to make sure that you aren't locked out simply due to time restrictions. So that's all that's involved with this course. Other policy issues, go look for the syllabi. They are on the course website at multiple points. If you need testing extension due to DSS extensions, you need to submit paperwork for each test to DSS. We know you're not physically taking the test. The big reason is that we need the documentation. If you submit your DSS paperwork, you're going to get the extra time that you need to take the exam unless there's other accommodations that need to be made. If you have other accommodations besides this extended time, DSS will work with me. Don't worry about it. But again, if you don't submit your paperwork, I just can't give you an extension. I need to have something from DSS saying that you are a DSS student, they have checked, and you are given the extra time. So hopefully this video sees you well. again, as you see on the course website, go ahead for this week, do the course entry quiz. Make sure you get that out of the way. You can't access anything else on the course until you've done the course entry quiz. Go ahead, knock out the WebAssign. That's due this week for the lab for the review. Go ahead and knock out the discussion boards. They're going to start popping up throughout the week. Go ahead and get the safety one done. Go ahead and get the IMF ones done. I think colligative properties is going to show up this week. And just start working your way through the course. Next week we're going to start the labs in earnest, so shoot me an email if you do not get your lab kits in time. I can grant you an extension if you can show me that it's still you ordered early and it's still shipping. But other than that, oh, last thing, there's a Doodle Poll. This Doodle Poll is to establish a good time to do a live stream. I have office hours in the sense that I will be on Teams and you can shoot me questions via Teams or you can shoot me emails. Typically, I don't do virtual office hours, and the reason I don't do virtual office hours is that mostly students show up to ask one question over a 1 hour period. You get a 1 hour video of watching me work on other things. The idea with the live streams is the time that you all can come together on YouTube, submit me questions via the chat, and I will answer those questions more or less in real time. So go ahead and fill that Doodle Poll out, and next week you'll get an announcement telling you what times I will actually be doing the live stream, so this way you can actually talk to me in person. Other than that, again, shoot me emails, shoot me questions via Teams. We're not going to have any live streams this week. I'm pretty much going to be on my computer most of this week working on other things. So if you submit me questions via Teams, I'll probably be there to answer your questions. So good luck, and yeah, hopefully we can make this work out.